What's cracking, YouTube? It's your Loke Phantom Loke, aka Silk the Lokester, and you watching Keep It 3100.
I see you folks clicking up, looking like you tough, acting like you banging now, nigga. Walk around with that flag out your pocket until the real come and ask what you claiming now, nigga. 1, 2, 3, oh shots from a loose cannon and it's blazing through your torso, nigga. 1, 2, 3, oh shots from a loose cannon and it's blazing through your doors now, nigga.
Yeah, nigga, that Loke is back. Come to your section, them shells rat-a-tat-tat. Cause what you banging, what you claim, you know what's up. If a person got that dagger exposing your fucking guts. Yeah, that blue been in me. Free my big cousin, cuz like me. Our gang's different, but we both bleed blue. Heart pump, no Kool-Aid, them shots come through. I stay true blue, been true to that blue. Been true to the cause, so what about you? For all first timers, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. And today we're going to talk about the Cr1p Car, the alliances, and a little extra stuff. This was actually a requested video, and I actually wanted to touch on that. So this is an educational video. Let's get into it. So even to this day, there are people that still thinks, oh, it's Crips against Bloods, Bloods against Crips. Well, at one point in time, it was like that. It was like throughout the 70s. But when it got to the late 70s, all of a sudden, it became Crip against Crip, really. It went from Crips fighting other Crips to the point where Crips were killing other Crips. Let's just say we are a very complex, competitive, complicated people. Let's just say that. Because every single Crip, whether it's an individual or a set, wants to outdo or be better than another Crip or Crip gang. So you have like different sets competing, trying to outdo each other, whether it's Crip walking, whether it's gang banging, anything you could think of. They try to outdo each other. And, you know, most of these Crip on Crip beefs and rivalries and wars start over, you know, usually a female misunderstanding, or one Crip gang did another Crip gang wrong. So it's usually those three things that starts off these wars and all that. And these cars really didn't come into play until the well-known war between the 60s and the A-Tray gangsters, which is going to be touched on in another video. But what I will say is that was our version of the Hatfields and the McCoys. If you guys know who the Hatfields and the McCoys is, well, what I will say is that's our version as a people of the Hatfields and the McCoys, as Crips. Now these days, it's even to the point where there's infighting in different sets, in different Crip gangs, which is crazy because we all supposed to be one unit and all that, but for some reason, like certain sets, they have shit going on in their backyard, and, you know, certain sets are so big that they don't know everybody, especially by face, from different sides and all that. So that's where the internal conflict comes from. Also, there could be envy, jealousy. You know, Nipsey Hussle's case was a perfect example, except the dude that in his life, sadly, they actually knew each other, which is very sad. But now let's get into the main topic of the video. I'm going to break down different cards, personalities, and reputations. One thing I noticed is that, but now let's get into the video. I'm going to break down different Cr1p cards, personalities, and reputations. The best way I can explain it, salute to the homie bio, is like you have Christianity, and then you have different types of Christians. That's basically like how us Crips are, you know. You have different types of Crips. So with that, you have different personalities and everything else. So the first one I'm gonna touch on is the biggest, the neighborhood Crips. Personalities. Well, for the West Side neighbors, very extra out, especially the 60s, 40s, and hundreds. And you could throw in the 50s too, but it's definitely mainly those three. Now, you also have East Coast, which also push neighborhood Crip, but they are from the East Side. That's why they're called East Coast. They're east of the 110 freeway. East Coast is First Street, 59, 6 Deuce, 66, 68, 69, 76, 89, 97, 118, 190. Those are the East Coast Crip sets. Now, I'm sure there's one more. I just forgot what it is, but they're mainly on the east side. And the 6 Deuce, 66, 68, 69 is what you call the 6-pack. 6 Deuce is the biggest out of all of them. And then you have 7-6, which is where Raymond Washington would have been from. If he was still here, rest in peace to the General, Raymond Lee Washington. You know what I'm saying? Neighborhood Crips are all over the place. They're in all over California. They're in a lot of places out of state, you know. And like I said, depending on the set, majority of them are very extra out, especially the 60s, 40s, hundreds, you know. They mainly wear blue, Carolina blue, but then sometimes certain sets have like a third color too to distinguish them from every other neighborhood Crip gang. You know, so like say the 40s, they wear gold. The 60s, well, I mean, I don't really know much about that, so I'm not even going to talk about something that I don't know what I'm talking about. But mainly blue and Carolina blue. The Carolina blue is for neighborhood Crip. The blue, you know, is obviously for the Crip. So biggest on the street and biggest on the yard, you know, in LA County, definitely. Next card, the Gangster Crips. Majority of them push the trays. Now, there's been a lot of controversy between which Gangster Crip gang came first and created the term moving. Well, I'm going to break that to you right now. It was the 4 trays. They were the first ones to add a number to their set. And on top of that, they the ones that created the term moving, which is what Gangster Crips, majority of them, use. It's a terminology that they use. Now, the A tray Gangster Crips, they created the 3X, the 3 times, which stands for the trays, you know. And that's why a lot of Gangster Crips, you know, push trays. And don't think just because they're under the same car mean that they are allied with each other, because there's a lot of infighting going on within the Gangster Crips, as well as the neighborhood Crips, which is another thing I want to touch on and all that. You know, like you had that 60s and 40s situation, and you know, and now for the Gangster Crips, well, like I said, I can't talk about shit that I don't know what I'm talking about, but I just know there's a lot of infighting going on with them boys. So a lot of controversy and all that. Majority of the Gangster Crips, especially the ones that push the tray, they wear gray flags. So you'll catch them usually with blue and gray, like Georgetown Hoya colors, especially the A-Tray gangsters. The gray stands for gangsta and the trays. And then the blue, you know, obviously for the Crip and all that. Then you have Gangster Crips that don't push the tray. The Broadway Gangster Crips, you know, And instead of saying moving, they say weighing. And then you have, the Five Deuce Hoover Gangsta Crips, they say grooving, just as well as any other Hoover set. And I'm going to touch on unorthodox sets as well. Avalons, I'm not sure if they push the trend or not, but what I do know is that they don't say moving either. They say swinging. Rolling Crips. You got the Harlems, the 20s of Long Beach, and the 80s of Long Beach. Now, similar to neighborhood Crips, one thing I forgot to mention about neighborhood Crips, and now I'm going to touch on Rolling Crips, is that they flashy as well. Definitely the Rolling Crips, but the Rolling Crips are not really that extra out for real. In fact, they're not. Now, the Rolling Crips, they like to take anything you got. From the Harlems to the Long Beach 20s to the West Coast 80s. Yeah. Jack and Crips. All sets that push the O is pushing Rolling, but not all sets that push the O is neighborhood. Put it like that. So for like the rich Rollins, right, on the west side of LA is 40s, 50s, 60s, 90s, and 100s. They neighborhood Crips that's pushing rich Rollin'. Now, Harlem 30s, which is my set, we're not neighborhood, we're Harlems. But we still push the O. And we're on the west side of LA. Then you also have the Menlos, which are the 70s. They on the west side of LA too. Mafia Crips. No infighting with them. Pretty organized. Allies with each other. They mainly from the east side, but there are a few west side sets. Their name, their type speaks for itself. They're Mafia Crips, so the name really speaks for itself. Really organized. Now the Deuces, now they're really on their own program and all, but they are really close to the Rolling Crips and Neighborhood Crips. They usually represent by going like this. For Deuces, so that's like West Boulevard, Gear Gang. These are just two examples. Oh, Venice Shoreline. Then you have the Hustler Crips. They mainly wear blue and green. And the name speaks for themselves too, because blue for Crip, green for money. Then you have the Block Crips. And some of them operate independently. Some of them operate along with the Alliance, but they're on really their own thing and all that. They fuck with who they want to fuck with. That's basically the best way I could put it. Some of these cars and sets operate independently. Some of them are on a specific program and all that. Now I'm going to give you 4 unorthodox sets. One of them is a blood set. 118 East Coast because they really push block. Harlem 30s, my set, because they push rolling, but they're not neighborhood. 5 Deuce Hoover, because they're the only Crips that's always been pushing Crip and not criminal. 107 went from being Crip to criminal and back to Crip. But 5 Deuce always been Crips. And y'all favorite, because of Whack 100, Cr1p Car because they really bloods. They're not straight up Parus. Straight up Parus are from Compton. They rock burgundy. Paru bloods, they rock red. But that's the video giving you the info on the Cr1p Car and different Cr1p cars and alliances to the best of my knowledge and all that, you know. If I'm missing anything, please comment. And thank you for watching the video. I'll see you in the next video. Keep your thumbs up, C's high, and I'll see you soon.
You don't know now what set I claim. I claim 3-0. You ask what I bang? I bang 3-0 with the A in the middle. Avenues, cuz, but I ain't with the riddles. Keeps the 3100, but people not like me. I see the weird shit going on repeatedly. But I'm a go-getter, I goes and gets. Never a lazy ass nigga, ambitious with my bets. Cross the line, pay the debt. Even with your life, pay the debt. Gotta pay the toll, that's how life rolls. I seen too many plays solid, but they always fold. Had a beating heart, froze that shit cold. Don't give a fuck, I'm in that fucking mode. Seen one side, but now it's the other side. One slick mouth, that life of yours, bye bye.